All right, George Will. Perhaps the biggest phony in the country, puts himself up as like a conservative writer. He works at the Washington Post, so he panders to his employers. So this is what I tweeted let's see. This is a. Let me do my SOT, sound on tape, from February 9th. This is what I said February 9th. Go. They edited out, the Democrats, and this is just beyond the pale. They edited out, we're going to walk down peacefully. So they cut that out of the president's speech. Now that is deception at the highest level. No more needs to be said about it. So the entire Democratic Party should be ashamed. All right, that was February 9th, okay? So in the House manager's presentation, they used tape of the riots and everything else and of President Trump's speech, but they edited out the comments peacefully and patriotically, we'll walk to the Capitol. So Will, 5 days later, writes in his column, quote, the presentation by the House managers was a demonstration, the more welcome for its rarity, of congressional conscientiousness and meticulousness. So Will knew that they edited out the exculpatory part of President Trump's speech, and he says to the Washington Post readers, this is congressional conscientiousness and meticulousness. All right, here's what I tweeted after I read this yesterday. Put it up. On February 9th, the Democrat House managers deceived Americans by editing out President Trump saying peacefully and patriotically and speaking to the January 6th protesters in Washington. That's a fact. Today, Washington Post columnist George Will wrote, the presentation by the impeachment House managers was a demonstration of congressional conscientiousness and meticulousness. Thanks for the honesty, Georgie. I mean, really, it has consciousness there, so it's conscientiousness. Okay, all right. So what am I supposed to do with George Will? What can you do? I mean, blatantly misleading his readers, and there's no he said, she said, no defense. He did it. Think anyone will call him out? Will his editors say, George, maybe next week you're going to have to explain the meticulousness and conscientious lines since the Congressional House managers edited out the most important exculpatory part of President Trump's speech? Maybe you owe it to the Washington Post readers to kind of explain that. Never happened. This is when I say the corrupt corporate media, this is what I mean. Bezos, Amazon, owns the Washington Post. Will works for Bezos. So Will is going to give him what he wants. But then Will struts around like, oh, I'm an intellectual conservative. What he did to me in killing Reagan was just unconscionable. And that's when I knew. So Google Bill O'Reilly, George Will, and you'll see what I told him face to face, because I'm not a backstabber. I'll stab you right in the front if you need it.